Nope.
Oh no, actually, the Freddy one liner would have been something like, he's getting head, and then Freddy comes up. "Ugh." He's like, "Ugh. Oh, I want to speak to your manager. There was a hair in my food." Like, what? Hey everybody, what's up? It's a new week. It is Wednesday, hump day, which on one hand means the middle of the week is almost done, the work week's almost done, but
Yes.
it should mean it is our first commentary of the week. And keeping in true theme like we've been doing for the past month or so, we're tackling these anthology series. You've seen us do the first couple episodes of Tales from the Dark Side. You've seen us do the first couple of episodes of Tales from the Crypt. And now we are doing the best of no, I'm just kidding. We're doing so far the
The
worst. We're
best.
doing we're doing Freddy's Nightmares today.
The
And
worst?
here's the thing. We did an audio commentary of this, Zach and I, some years back, a long time ago, just audio though. And I think that was the second time I'd ever watched it. So today I watched it for the third time, and I watched the second episode as well. And it's just not, I'd never seen anything past the first episode. And from what I've kind of always read online, a lot of people say the first episode is the best, and then kind of meanders after that. I don't like the first episode. Part of it could be because I know this backstory. You know what I mean? Like, we know the
It's
Freddy backstory.
we'll get into it. What I
You
think
know,
about it. Yeah.
and then but yeah, anyway, so it is fun. It is I guess nostalgic because I remember this being on when I was like a little kid. I just remember like the segue scenes. It's just all kind of burned in my brain. But let's go ahead. What's up, Mendoza? Before we get going, I want to remind everybody that we are doing these Wednesdays, and typically Wednesdays and Fridays, 8:30 Central Time, and then on Fridays, 10:30 Central Time. Join us live. Otherwise, you got to wait for the old edits to go up. And as far as these films, they are on archive.org.
Yep.
So we've linked that stuff in the description of the video, whether you're here live or after the fact. So
Season
get
one's up there. I think both seasons are. So yeah. I mean the quality is shit, of course, because I mean it never came out on anything better,
it's not going to hurt or help this show. Don't worry about it.
but it is on Plex. So Plex is
Oh, yeah.
free as well.
Okay.
But it has a bunch of ads
Ads.
on it, which drove me nuts because I watched the better quality originally on Plex. And then
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I would personally go with the archive. Yeah, what's up, Gushy? But yeah, so without further ado, hopefully you guys have had a second to get it pulled up. Maybe I'll be nice and give you 5 more seconds if you guys need to find the links. But yeah, so I'll kind of brief you really quick. Take 5 seconds, get it pulled up. But basically, this is kind of kicking off the series with the backstory of Freddy. Maybe like I said, maybe that kind of hurts it for me because we all know this fucking story. So there's nothing like gonna wow me. There's nothing to really expect. I kind of know where it's going. Maybe that's what's always kind of killed it for me. But Mendoza, yeah, you're gonna check in on Plex. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started here. 3, 2, 1, play. I'll bite your fingers next time. You guys remember the pinball machine? The Freddy pinball machine,
Oh
dude?
man.
That's what he would always say. You'd lose, and he'd go, I'll bite your fingers next time. I'm like, when did he ever say
There's a
that?
bunch of terrible one-liners in these shows, and with his cameos, but in these episodes.
Negasonic Savior Warhead ever tasted pussy in the pale moonlight? Is this the Batman Joker guy again? Did you just change avatars? And the answer is yes. It was your mother's. Or yours if you're a female, maybe. I don't know. No, so like I said, in a nutshell, this is basically they decided to just extract the backstory of Fred Krueger, which who wanted this real? I hate it when this is not a story that I needed to see fleshed out personally.
You
I
know
thought
what?
it
I
was
I think they could have done it, but I mean, they tried, but it fell flat in a lot of
well,
parts.
and Todd, if you have any factoids up about this, when did this air again? Like, I want to find out where in the series. It had to have been between 4 and 5 when Freddy was at his peak, right? Or was it before Freddy's death? When was it?
88. So October 8th, 1988.
So
So
that would have
what
been
would
like
that
5.
be?
Would that
Okay,
5?
yeah.
5 would have been out, or it
Yeah.
was 589. I'm rough. I'm going to say between 4 and 5. But regardless, he was a pop culture phenom at this time, and yeah, this is the only thing he didn't have, man. This guy looks like, was that John Stossel, dude?
It's a killer stash. I love it.
Yeah. But anyway, so maybe at the time it was a much fresher idea, like, hey, because the series is only out for like 5 years. Hey, let's give the backstory of Freddy. We only kind of hinted at it in the first movie or whatever. Maybe that, and Toby Hooper directed this, by the way. There you go. But maybe that helped it back in the day. But for me, it's like this is all old hat. And also, you kind of might even ask yourself, why aren't they got Robert England
They
for
didn't
this
show his
first
face.
they got Robert England for this first episode. Why are they not showing his face? Well, if you look at it in the context of when it came out, they didn't really show Robert England's face in the movies either yet.
Hmm.
Right? That didn't come until Freddy's dead. So they were probably, they probably weren't thinking of it as like, hey, we got the marquee star for the TV show. Let's exploit his ass. Let's use him. They're probably just like, well, we don't show him in the movies either. What's it going to mean? Let's keep him shrouded in darkness because we don't want people to know what Freddy looks
So
like. But
yeah, yeah, it had to be before Freddy's Dead because Freddy's Dead was 91, and that's when the first time they showed his face, right? Um,
to my knowledge, well, they showed him briefly in
or
part
showed Robert
three.
Englund.
Right, part three, right? It's the son of 100 maniacs. Remember they showed like his little cameo,
Yeah. So
but he
Nightmare
wasn't.
5
Yeah,
came out in 89. So yeah, this is
yeah,
between four and
between four and
five.
five.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
yeah.
is peak commercial Freddy. This is like trying to sell you Pepsi cans and Power Gloves and Ray Bans or whatever else he was hawking at you.
So basically, of course, I mean we know the story. He's taking these kids, he's
Hmm.
doing things to them that he shouldn't be doing, killing them, and then he's keeping them locked up in his little cage in his boiler room. But he ends up getting arrested by this officer, but he gets off because he didn't read him his Miranda rights. How
So
stupid is
so
that?
stupid, dude. I hate it. It falls apart from the beginning because this guy's like, "I came here. I just want to do what's right." I'm like, "Well, you fucked up the first part of the job, like the easiest
He
thing."
says he's been working on this for 2 years, but he
For
forgot to read him his Miranda rights.
wait till the commissioner hears about this. He is gonna hit the roof. Like, yeah. When I heard that, I'm like, "Are you kidding me, man? Like, are you just fresh off the boot camp or whatever it is? Did you just
Yeah,
get out of training?" It makes no sense. I have zero sympathy for this guy on how the people treat him, and kind of are angry at him for.
he's a terrible actor, and he's just a. I mean, he's so unlikable. I mean, he's just an idiot, and even his wife hates him.
Yeah. Well, his wife's like, I don't know. She's a bit of an enabler too. It's like when he's clearly going through his issues of I killed a man.
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't. You're a hero. Like, but I still need therapy. She's coming in with like sexy lingerie. Like, will you fucking let me process this?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but what I have to say too on the topic of what you said, this has come up many times when we talk about the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Um, the topic of what Freddy's crimes really were, between a child killer or a Play-Doh. We're just going to call it
Plato,
Play-Doh, right?
Plato
Because
file. Yeah,
and they've altered history with this because they could say to the cows come home that no, Freddy was just a killer, but yeah, right. And clearly they didn't have that in place from the beginning because this show paints him as a Play-Doh.
hmm
100%.
yeah.
I mean, look, he's got 2 daughters that are there on the
That
stands.
were
So
abducted. Yeah.
they were abducted. What was he doing to him? He didn't murder him. Why is one of them like traumatized?
Well, yeah, they said that he was messing around with one of them or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
messing around. And he even said, like, when they were reading off the charges, like little Susie, little whatever, they're saying they're kids,
Mhm.
right? And kidnap. It's just, and he's got them in the cages and stuff. It doesn't register. So when they change it and they double down on changing that later in the years, like what was the original story? Like that was the angle, but then when the movie came out, like there was a big story in the news about somebody that was doing that to innocent kids, and they decided to kind of like shy away from it.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me, but that doesn't mean it's still not there under the surface. They just it just seems to me like, okay, they're just not being they're just being it's subtle with it. Like it's a subtext thing. And to me, that's potent enough. But that doesn't mean it's not there. But anyway, and then fast forward to like in the last decade, you got people interviewing Robert Englund at some of these cons he does, and they're asking about it. I've seen this on video, and it just kind of on the spot, Robert Englund is kind of deciding. I never understood that. Where like, I get it, you played Freddy, but you're not the writer.
Well,
And
he shouldn't be deciding because it was already out here in
yeah,
Freddy's Nightmares.
but some people do this when they're like the actor. I'm like, the source material though. He goes, no, Freddy's just a killer. I think I think that's dark enough. Like, what says you're the authority, Robert England? You played him. No, you got hired to play this guy, and just because you don't want to be known as the guy that played this guy, I don't think it works like that.
Okay, if it's Wes Craven that created this, you know that it has to be true because I mean, look at Last House on the Left. I mean, he's
Yeah, yeah,
back
yeah.
then
And
he was
and
pretty.
he can sort of adjust that when it's coming out, but it doesn't it was still written and filmed in a certain tone. And to me, it's not, hey, we're not we're gonna go from making him not this to this. I don't think it's that. I think it's just they consciously chose not to be on the nose about it because it's like, look, but it's clear, dude.
Yeah, it's
It's clear as day.
well.
And
When did he say this? This is probably recently when all the cancel culture crap
within the
was going
last
on.
like decade, I don't know.
Oh,
It's
okay,
hard. It's all a blur, but yeah, sometime the last. I think at post Wes Craven being dead.
okay,
So
gotcha.
sometime, and he almost said it like he was an authority to say it, and I just don't think it works that way. And I get it. I could see why they would move away from that because Freddy became this antagonist everybody was rooting for. People started seeing Freddy movies as popcorn movies, and you're rooting for Freddy. He was
Yeah,
funny. He had the personality, unlike Michael and Jason. He had a personality, and you cheered when he killed people. You wanted to laugh. So you didn't want to like bond and sympathize with somebody that did that to kids,
yeah.
right? You just don't. Because when we're talking about murdering kids, first of all, he supposedly murders kids, but throughout the whole series, he's going after these like 17-year-old teenagers.
Yeah.
So they had to skirt the lines, right? And don't try and tell me that like that's what they meant by kids. No, because every time there's a nightmare sequence in all these movies, you see the little kids playing jump rope and hopscotch, and they
His
say
prior
things.
victims, yeah.
Yeah, and they say things like, I think it's Freddy versus Jason, especially little girls. He likes little girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but they can't on paper show him going after and killing kids on screen. So we got to make sure they're like 17 and they can show their tits and all this stuff. I mean, the whole thing with Heather Langenkamp in the beginning. Granted, it's a double when they show her under the tub getting pulled and you see her naked.
Mhm.
That was back in the days where you could like have, even if that was an adult, you can have them portraying a teenager and showing them naked. Like the ethics were kind of a blurry line back then. I always think about The Stepfather, which I love that movie.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
great.
daughter in The Stepfather is 16, and she straight up has a gratuitous nudity shower scene. And it's like, yeah, she was probably 18 or whatever, but is this not a little odd that this is socially acceptable that they do this? I don't know.
John Doe, we're watching it on archive.com or else it's on Plex. Plex has
Yeah,
the ads, but archive.com doesn't. So that's why we're
we've
watching an archive.
we've got it linked in the description of this stream. But yeah, it's on archive, so you can just click those. And if you want to jump in, we're at about 10 minutes and 21 seconds, episode 1.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
one thing that drove me nuts about this episode when I first saw it is they have,
the runtime,
they have Freddy Krueger on trial, but he's wearing a sweater and he has his hat. It's
it's
like,
so dumb.
why wouldn't he
It's
be in an orange jumpsuit? I mean, come on.
it's so dumb because they have branding.
Yeah.
Everybody, this is 1988. Everybody knows Freddy. We gotta have. They're gonna let him keep on his trademark sweater for brand recognition, but I'm guarantee you that sweater has all kinds of kitty DNA all over it. Like he would
Yeah.
really be like, because I'm sure he's worn. Do you think he's like Bart Simpson and has a whole closet full of the same sweater like Doug Funny?
And
No, it's probably the same sweater.
and the
He just
judge
put it
throws
all,
out the case and they just unchain him and let him
and
go.
he puts on his hat and leaves. And then when they leave the courtroom, they're like, "Where did he go? Probably to get more kids." Like he's like, "All right, bye." he's like, he's like, Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins with his hat. I'm off to get more children. It's, it's ridiculous, dude. And then the
Uh,
lore, it's a mess because it is before Freddy's dead, so I'll give him that. Freddy's dead kind of screwed with it. If you
I
really
jumped
like
the
to,
shark. Yeah.
if you want to canonize everything, Freddy's dead doesn't make sense with this because when they're going to confront him in the boiler room, and he's just kind of like nonchalant. He's very facetious about the whole thing. He's all like, "Bring it, like that match." He's like, "Oh yeah,
Mhm.
starting a cookout." Ha ha
Yeah.
ha.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
saying all these stupid lines, and even when they set him on fire, he's just like laughing. I'm free. I'm
I'm
free.
free.
Like
Yeah. It's
like
so
he knows
cheesy,
he's like he
man.
knows he's a demon. And if you watch uh, obviously there's the whole weird like semen demons that are in Freddy's Dead
Yeah.
and that whole deal. And then if you watch like the remake, which I don't blame you if you don't want to, they portrayed him as like being tortured, like, running and screaming and actually being almost victimized. But Freddy's like, bring it, like he was already a demon. And also the girl, the main cop's daughter is like, she tells the dad, "Don't kill him, it'll only make it worse."
Yeah.
So have we already established he's a dream demon, or
How
is he
how
alive?
how would how would how would Robert England know
And how
that
would
he's
she
gonna come
know?
back? Yeah. Yeah.
How would she know? Like, no, don't, dad. It's gonna make it worse. He's gonna be a dream demon, and he's gonna get what? No, he's somebody that like touched you, and he's killing people. And no, hey, put a noose around his neck. It makes no sense. This whole police squad is really interesting. This guy's all like, "I'm surprised you're not out there." Frankly, like, what?
Well, that's what drives me nuts about this or police officer, sheriff, or whatever he is. Um, he goes by the book, even after his
Until he
kids get
doesn't.
abducted. No,
Yeah.
he was like, no, this is against the law. It's like, I mean, you're a father of two that had their kids, stolen and
That's
messed with.
that's the that's the biggest thing. It'd be different if his kids weren't victims. I
Yeah,
would almost like and he would still feel bad enough for especially dropping the ball. I mean, he ruined it.
yeah.
He ruined it. That I wouldn't blame it if the parents wanted to lynch his ass.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
For
Like,
not reading the Miranda rights. Yeah,
and then it's so funny. They're all colluding to take Freddie out. It's so funny because they were doing it from the second he was acquitted. Like they're literally
mm,
outside of the courthouse. Like, we got to take care of business ourselves. Like, wow, you guys don't need to process this. Like, what the hell just happened? Like, I can't. If that was me and my family, we would be hitting up Long John Silver's for some fish, like you do after church or whatever, and then like talking about it, like, I can't believe that happened. And then somebody would have the audacity to be like, I don't know if you guys are thinking the same thing, but oh yeah, somebody would have the balls to maybe bring it up, but they're just like, yeah, we got to fucking kill this asshole right outside the courtroom. Like, be careful who's listening. And
so
yeah, and I like,
he's going after him into the boiler room or to the wherever he's at, and of course he leaves his wife and kids behind. He leaves a sheriff there to watch out for him, to make sure Freddy doesn't come and mess with him.
oh, Freddy comes a lot.
Yeah, yeah, and that whole scene is just ridiculous. I mean,
Wait,
with
but
the
really
fried
quick though,
chicken, dude.
this scene kills me because this guy's on his high horse. They're trying to find Freddy, so they've known where he hangs out. By the way, the whole time, like he's in a boiler room, because they didn't really set up his career, right? We don't really know what he does.
No, we
I know.
do. They had that ice cream truck. Remember?
Okay,
That was in the
okay,
front.
that's what I was gonna say. That they just created for the show.
Yeah. Mhm.
They were never clear about what he did, but I know in the remake he like was like a school janitor or something, and like a general utility guy of the grounds, and he lived in the boiler room. Whatever. That seems like it tracks the best, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But this, he's an ice cream man. It's kind of generic, and you'll hear the music and stuff. I mean, I get it, but
Oh,
whatever.
right here where he pops up.
He's gonna kill this cop eating pizza, dude, or chicken or whatever. Sorry, so
And
stupid.
I mean, they have this, I don't know, kind of filter on the camera. It slows it down. It looks terrible. It looks like a Sega CD game.
Yeah, full motion video thing.
Yeah, it looks terrible, man.
You just poured that hot sauce on that chicken, dude.
Yeah. And then when he drags the body out, you see the plated chicken just sitting on his stomach, dude, while he's dragging him away.
It's so dumb.
Oh,
But like,
terrible. It has a
there,
charm to it, though. It does have a charm to it.
there's nobody even morally on the fence about this. Everybody's all, like I said, he's the bad guy for just Even the other cop's like, "Hey, man, I'll look away. Go fucking kill his ass. What are you talking about? I'm surprised you're here."
Yeah.
It cracks me up. But anyway, it's gonna get the better of him. Even his wife is like, "Are you fucking crazy?
Mhm.
What are you doing? You go kill that fucker." And he goes there and he meets him, but he's going to stop the family, and he,
See the
holds the
play
guy.
chicken, sorry.
So dumb, dude. Like, he had to have literally put that on him.
Yeah, I know.
He
Picked up the
literally had to have
pieces, yeah.
sat that on his belly. It makes no dang sense, guys. It's ridiculous. And um this is he's like a legit night slasher here because he's
Yeah.
he's killing adults, man. You know what? If you're a true night slasher, dress in dark. Don't dress in branded clothing. Like, I saw the red and green sweater guy and
Yeah,
the
the hat,
gloves and the
fedora, yeah.
hat, the fedora.
Hey, here's the Sega CD thing right here, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
No,
Looks
I
like
mean,
Night Trap, dude.
it has its charm to it. I can see why some people enjoy it. I mean, I think it's not great, but I mean, I could sit here and watch this.
Why is one sister more traumatized than the other? Just because, but they both were kidnapped, right? Or no?
I think one was, yeah, messed
I
with
but
more. I don't
but
know.
but but they were both in
Yeah,
captivity?
yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if that was
As
clarified,
far as
but,
I know, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I say this show would be better. This goes for the second episode too, if they were shorter. I don't think they
Yeah.
need to be 46-minute. Honestly, and to me, uh, this could easily be told in under 30 minutes. I think it just goes too long. And the
This
second
one,
episode,
I
we're
don't
jumping the
mind this
gun.
being for 40 minutes, this first one, but after that,
I was hoping the first episode was just gonna be. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just the first episode. Those
yeah.
are kicking off the series, and they want to set the ground and tell the Freddy story. I was gonna give it a little bit of a pass for that, but every episode is like that. And when I watched the second episode, I'm like, holy shit! There is literally a clear stopping point about 25 minutes in where it should have ended,
Mhm.
and it just kind of becomes two things. I'm like, why is this still going on? I was getting angry. You would have thought Spalding was smacking chicken in my ear. I was getting mad on my break watching this. I'm like, I am using my personal time for this. Ah,
And then the commercial cutscenes are just driving nuts that they just pop up out of nowhere.
oh, Freddy coming out of the fryer and
Yeah,
shit like that in the
and
second episode.
that
I
was
mean,
the best part, dude, that was
some of
funny.
that stuff is kind of funny, but yeah,
What did you say, like, extra crispy or something like that? Or I don't know, some cheesy.
I don't
Yeah.
know. But anyway,
Yeah,
they
he
don't ever call out any names here, but we're to assume that, like, Nancy's mom or other people are in this group, right?
mhm.
But they don't ever, like, specify.
No,
Isn't
they
John
don't.
Saxon supposed to be here? Where's John Saxon? He's a cop?
I think this was the prior so this is what happened before John Saxon and them lived in that house because they showed some dream sequences where they're actually in the Freddy house.
Mhm.
So, which doesn't make sense because this isn't the Freddy house. So, I mean, there's just so many plot holes in this. It's hard to know what the hell's going on sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you earlier, I mean, this series is just like one giant fever dream. It's a dream within a dream within a dream. Like you go through all these episodes, it's just like you don't know what the hell's going on because it's all a dream, pretty much.
Mm.
But I mean, it's fun. It's entertaining a lot of the times, and I can see why people enjoy it. It's not great. I mean, some people, I think people like it more. They have, they have children's eyes watching it, thinking like, okay, this thing is fantastic, which it's not. It's, it is fine.
When did Tales from the Crypt air? Does this technically predate Tales, or did it come out the same year?
This was 88. What did we say? It was
Was Tales 88 or 89? I'm trying to see if this gets any credit. Oh, 89, Tales from the Crypt. So this actually
so a
predates,
year later. Yeah.
but, it's not as good as Tales from the Dark Side. I just don't think it captures the tone very well. Like, why isn't there more of the Freddy, like, soundscape and music going on? I don't feel like there's enough, like, that. I don't know, it just comes off like a cheap TV show.
It does. And I mean, of course, they didn't have the budget, but they had a bigger budget or this is a bigger budget than Tales from the Dark Side, you would think.
Mm, I mean, yeah, I would think, but they
Uh,
can't even afford, decent lighting on Robert Englund's face, dude. I still don't know why they're keeping him in the shadows, dude.
I
But
know. It kinda drives me nuts.
they were still trying to build mystique at that time. Like, if only they know, well, hey, in a fucking year, we're just gonna like totally jump the shark, and we're gonna show him strangling his wife in the front yard, and we're gonna show him with we're gonna show young him with Alice Cooper, dude. It's gonna be great. He's
Oh,
gonna say kids and all kinds of stuff.
this is the part we were talking about earlier where he comes in, the cop tries to stop the guy from shooting him with a shotgun. He threatens to kill the guy if he ends up
I
shooting
love it.
him.
I love it. And then he takes matters in his own hands, and I like when he does it.
Yeah.
He, he goes after he fries Freddy. He goes, "We're all in this together." I'd be like, "You fucking did it,
I
bro."
know.
Like, what do you what?
I
Like,
know.
we have what? Like, first of all, you were against this. You were gonna blow his head off for doing it, and now you take it from him. From my eyes, you held the guy at gunpoint and took control of a situation. I'd be like, "What?" I don't know. It's really funny. Hey, look, he's enjoying it. I don't have the volume up, but he's saying all these crazy one-liners right now, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't have the volume up either. Just the fact that you can't see Robert Englund's face kinda drives me nuts with that smoke that just goes,
Yeah, you know what?
and
It that
that's not his teeth.
but it adds it nowadays, in hindsight, it adds to the cheapness of it because
Yeah.
looking back, had they known they were just gonna fucking dox Robert Englund like crazy going, they should have just used him. And if we could actually see Robert Englund in this show a little more, I mean, I'm okay with like making him kind of mysterious, but it's not obvious it's him to the layperson.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it kind of screams, oh, they couldn't afford the real guy. You
Yeah.
know, that's to me, I just think it would have added production value, as they say in the business, if they would have actually showed his face.
Why
He's
do
like,
I
"Oh
got
yeah, yeah, give me a bath, soak me up. Oh yeah, come on." It's so stupid. He's not even flinching. That's like a stand-in, dude. Like,
got Dennis Haskins in the back with a shotgun?
yeah, yeah. Look, he just takes it. He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, fun. I'm free. I'm free. I'm free." He's like dancing,
That's the
dude.
cheesiest part right there, I'm free.
I'm free. I'm free. They clearly hadn't fleshed out the lore yet, and I just wish they never had. I just didn't need all this. I think it was much cooler as an afterthought, and Nancy's mom just having a conversation with her on the bed or whatever and telling her the story.
Yeah, I mean, you kinda, yeah, filled in the pieces, in your own mind, and what they're doing, I mean, it's fine, but they didn't do it well, so
It's stupid, and like he's all shit and bricks. He's like, like, oh, we got to get rid of the body. I'm nervous, and they call the feds in.
the
Like, oh,
FBI the FBI's coming in.
look, oh, this is like the segue.
Yeah.
That was then. This is now.
Uh,
Right. Uh, Now I'm gonna sell you Nintendos and shit.
Yeah, and
Like, I can't even tell. Like, some of the quality of this is, first of all, it's really darkly lit and the quality's shit. So
yeah.
I couldn't. Some of the stuff I'm like looking at, I'm like, what am I looking at? He's like dumping goo out of his like. Is he cutting? Is he cutting himself and just like blood's coming out? Like, why is he doing that?
That's why we need this in HD, man. I wanna see what it actually looks like because the quality's just here's
Look,
the home.
this lighting, dude. This is like something out of fucking Goosebumps or Tales from the Crypt. No,
I
not Tales.
like it. It is Freddy-esque, though. I mean, they have movies like this where the lighting's like this, shitty, but
No,
I like it.
it's just funny. What's causing they clearly have like a green lamp in there and a red lamp. It's just like what's
So and they show this as their house now, which
mm,
obviously wasn't their house 5 minutes ago. So,
is that just an inconsistency? Like, or do they explain it? Maybe I.
I mean, unless it's the other side of their house, I don't know, but I take this to be the house from the original movie. I mean, I know it's not, but that's what they're trying to portray.
But
I don't what do people in the
mm,
comments think about this show? Do they enjoy it or what's the sentiment to that? I don't
well,
know if people like this or not.
oh hey, this is Mac, by the way.
Hey Mac, what's up, man?
Came gang for life. Are you the Batman guy then too? Because he said the pale moonlight thing. Whenever we'd have like Batman, you'd be on stream with us, and we'd get those messages. And like somebody was convinced, like that's probably Mac. I'm like, Mac, is that you, you son of a bitch? Uh,
I like that part though, where he gets the package and then Freddy's
yeah,
club comes up.
like there's some ideas here that are fine. I just, I just don't think it's a story that need to be told. It's fine. I think the second episode is way worse. If that matters.
No, it is way worse. Absolutely.
Like, I mean, just the source, but the story is dumb as shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, because you're not gonna see Freddy anymore, right? Except for like the Segway scenes.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
see the guy that works at Good Burger and he wants his son to take over the Good Burger.
it's so dumb, and that's his nightmare, dude. Is like, oh, you're never gonna leave the small town of Springwood. You're gonna like work this burger shop for the rest of your life while your friends are all what? This is like normal shit. This is
Well,
like
I mean, yeah, this supposedly takes place in Springwood or whatever, and they go to different stories of different people in Springwood, which
it's
is not a terrible concept for this show.
it would be a great concept if they were getting attacked by Freddy, which they kind of are, but they're not.
Yeah.
So they kind of are, but you just don't get to see Freddy. Because of budgetary restraints, Freddy is obviously taking the form of all these other people. Like in the case of the second episode, some biker.
Hmm.
That's I don't know. The first episode here, he's like, "Oh, this is not your nightmares. This is my nightmare,
Yeah.
Freddy nightmares," and that makes sense. This is Freddy's nightmare, even though he's free. I don't. It's not a bad thing at all. I think he should be happy this happened. But whatever. It's still Freddy's story. But pretty much after this episode, no, it's not Freddy's nightmares anymore. This is literally just kids' nightmares in Springwood. This is the same old thing. But I do like the concept. Like, Freddy is just like more of an omnipresent guy. He never really fully goes away. He just kind of picks people off here and there. That's kind of cool. And each episode can kind of focus on that. Yeah, I mean, it's almost there.
Yeah.
But it's just they kind of work you up, they rub you, get you a half chub, but they don't take you all the way. Now, because if they did take you all the way and there wasn't budget problems, it would be like a weekly 45-minute Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Because if you could actually have Freddy in there and Freddy doing the tormenting and you have these creative nightmares, but it's not. It's like we're watching a kid who says he's in Springwood, but we would only know that because he said it in the script. But other than that, he's at a burger joint and he's taunted by some biker guy that shoots him, and it's like a giant fever dream. There's like no Freddy. They're not taking you all the way, is what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah, they obviously don't have the budget. I mean, the kills aren't good, so I mean, just look. I mean, they put ketchup on chicken and they called it, a death scene.
I
So,
know hot sauce when I see it, but hey, was what was this on back in the day? I don't remember if I was watching it in syndication. I
mm,
watched it in
yeah,
syndication
I
because
watched it in
I
syndication
was
too.
definitely watching it circa 1991, I remember. So, I mean, obviously the show probably ran through 89 and that was it. So, but was this on was this NBC, Fox? Where did this air?
That aired in syndication on October 1988.
Or is it one of those shows like Friday the 13th the series that didn't have a network? It didn't have a Friday the 13th the series didn't have a network. It was literally just a syndicated show right out the gate, and different like territories would pick it up and run it. On whatever station, like WGN or it was like whatever. It didn't have a
I,
network.
I I think that's the way it is. I'm looking at it right now because I don't remember it being on a certain network. Honestly. Um.
Let's see
So yeah,
here.
Freddy Krueger is supposed to be kind of like a crypt keeper type of character, uh, in the actual series. But
On paper, it's a great idea,
yeah.
and the Freddy intros and all. First of all, I don't think. Granted, there was no Crypt Keeper yet, so he was doing it first before Crypt Keeper, I guess. But it's just not as good. Crypt Keeper was more fleshed out. It was more fun, and it felt like more of a lived in world. And with his setups and stuff, the Freddy thing is he's in and out. There's not a whole much. They show him in shadows. Like, that was then. This was now. Oh, story hopping out of a fryer and a quick one liner. I it's not enough. I think they should have if the show would have went on longer, it would have directly maybe competed with the Tales from the Crypt, and it could have copied it. And um, you know,
Okay, so here's interesting thing about this show. The series originally aired in syndication across the United States. Due to its violent and sexual content, episodes were often heavily edited before being broadcast. A notable example of the series finale, Safe Sex, which had 8 minutes of explicit footage removed. So that's interesting. I didn't know that it was heavily edited in this show.
bummer.
NBC Universal. Horror themed cable channel Chiller aired monthly marathons. Okay, yeah, that was recently. In 2006, AOL partnered with Warner Brothers Television to make Freddy's Nightmares available on its new broadcast service. So yeah, it just pretty much got shopped around. I don't see any. It just pretty much says syndication.
Yeah, I think it's like a Friday the 13th series type
Yeah.
situation. I like I said, on paper, I just think maybe if it would have went on longer, it would have developed more. I just think it wasn't fully cooked, and because I would love it if they would have made it more Crypt Keeper esque. And every episode, it doesn't start in that old mansion; it starts in the boiler room, and Freddy is doing something different. Right? We
Hmm.
we catch Freddy and he's cooking dinner, or he's reading a book by candlelight, and he kind of, make him more Crypt Keeper esque. That would have been
That
cool,
would
and
have been cool. Yeah.
you get Robert Englund's personality infused in it, just like we got Crypt Keepers. But here it's just kind of an afterthought.
Yeah,
I
if
don't
he
think
if
it's
he bookended the episodes that did that stuff, yeah,
and really
absolutely.
well, not just like these cheap things that honestly the stuff that we have here, it feels like they could just be on any episode. Like
Yeah,
he's not personalizing it, right? That like oh little Jimmy, he's not really talking about the
he just pops
episode.
out of a fryer, yeah, that sort of thing. Just pops in
Except
the
for that,
episode.
which that is kind of cool, but that I appreciate. But I mean, like actual bookends that actually just rip off the Crypt Keeper, start the episode, and you know what I mean, end it, and because the Crypt Keeper, whatever the skit is at the first, it has something to do with the story he's about to present, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the skit is. And and then he kind of gives you an introduction on what you're gonna see and tells a bunch of puns. And then the same thing. It's like this, when it ends, whatever the bookend, it's related to the story you just saw. Preferably, it's usually directly related to the ending of the story you just saw. Case in point, episode 1 of Tales from the Crypt. At the end segment, the Crypt Keeper's in the electric chair, right?
Yep.
Because we just got done watching the end. He's like, shot. That stuff's great. So there was a lot of effort put into that.
Each episode tells a different story with a dark or grim theme set in a fictional town of Springwood, Ohio, specifically on Elm Street, the same
Mm,
setting as Nightmare on Elm Street films. Although the
interesting.
Freddy Krueger character occasionally plays the role in the plot, most of the stories do not involve him directly. However, it is often hinted that Krueger uh, indirectly influenced the nature. Okay.
Which just makes it
Yeah.
reek of cheapness,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, the guy we can't afford, he's behind it. It's just like, all right. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Like I said, it's just kind of half baked.
Did you see all these episodes? Because I only saw a couple of them, maybe.
No,
Oh,
with the
well.
exception of this was a series that I remember seeing in like 90, 91. Like during that whole era where I tell you guys I was 4 and 5 years old watching Child's Play and Halloween 2 and all this stuff. And this was also on. I remember this being on late at night, like on syndication, but I don't remember what I was watching necessarily. I just remember some of the Freddy cutscene stuff. So,
Mhm.
you see all that stuff like him playing the air guitar, the guitar, and all those little things you see online. Uh, but that aside, the only episode that I could tell you I've really seen is this one.
Me too.
I've watched it a few times, and I've never cared for it enough in the few times I watched it to want to keep watching it. Because I had heard a lot of rumblings online that this is kind of the peak of the series, which worried me because I didn't like and I could see how people might think that because this is the only one that has like the Robert Englund Freddy stamp on it, right? Like, hey, we
Mhm.
could get him for this one. But yeah, it's like why do I want to watch more of this but without Freddy?
Yeah, so this scene he's basically he killed him. He's going through some stuff. His wife is all horned up and wants a piece of him.
Yeah, and she's weird to me
Yeah.
because I get it. He fucked up, but she's not really being attentive to what he's going through exactly. She's coming off a bit selfish right now. Like, oh yeah, we feel safe now. You know how hot
Look at
that
his
makes
face,
me.
dude.
He literally looks
Oh.
mortified, like he's being assaulted right now. You know what I mean? And he's
I
having,
I was hoping Freddy would pop up there.
oh yeah, like oh she's going down to give him a head, then Freddy's head comes up.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like, "Mwah." Like he's like picks a pube out of his mouth. Like,
And then a good one-liner. Yeah.
yeah, well, a one liner would have been like, You expect us to shave? You can't do the same for us? You think we want a mouthful of her? Oh.
uh, no,
Oh, no, no, actually, the Freddy one liner would have been something like, he's getting head, and then Freddy comes up, "Ugh." He's like, "Ugh. Oh, I wanna speak to your manager. There was a hair in my food." Like, "What?" Like,
I would think
"Ah!"
it would be something about his size is,
Um,
like, "Oh, you only got 2 inches? I wanted a foot long," or something stupid like that. I don't know.
I was about to say, that's not even one liner, that was just him being mean. "You've only got 2 inches, my friend."
Yeah.
"Ah!" Huh. Like like, jeez. I don't know, man,
Yeah, the fact that
fucking
they made these 40 to 46 minutes is crazy to me too.
because that means they were hour plus long series with the
Yeah.
commercials. They were hour block shows. Like, how what?
I mean, it's hard to pull that.
And it's actually brilliant. I know it's a lot more, I don't know the politics that go into getting a 30-minute series versus an hour block series approved. I'm sure it's harder to get an hour block on television because you gotta be really proven because that's ad time.
Yeah.
But I they just Tales from the Dark Side knew what was up. And obviously Tales from the Crypt also. It's like, dude, these 30-minute bangers, and it's not even 30 minutes. Like, you take out the commercials, we're talking 22, 23, 24 minutes. And then you have like Crypt Keeper segments, right? That shave off a
Yeah.
couple. It's like the story itself it's like you're getting probably 19 to 20 minutes of actual story, and it just works so well. This weird in between spot of a feature and a short is kind of odd for me.
Mhm.
If you're going to be a Cuz think about it, you know, what, 25 more minutes and you're a feature.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
just like
Yeah,
you're
I
either kind of like a half-baked feature, or you know what I mean? Like, I just like that really sweet spot. Be a short. You can do it.
if you
Tales from the Crypt does it.
if you don't have the production value, then yeah, it can't be 44 minutes.
Like, why are we still dealing with this? Like, why are we still looking I get sick of these characters. Like, why are we still dealing with these kids and their trauma and the girl not talking? And it's going on too long. We've seen like 3 or 4 scenes of this cop traumatized after he killed the guy. Like, it's just, let's get it done. I don't understand. Like, it's just a lot, you know?
Yeah, and they're kind of setting up the ending with the whole Dennis thing. Um, because of course you see his tooth or whatever just somehow gets chipped, and he's having tooth problems, and one of the guys is actual dentist. So yeah, I mean, there's some foreshadowing there, but it's dumb.
Hey, you know what? Let's see. Ishmael, how would you feel about an R-rated animated Robert Englund project, not to replace any kind of live action movie, but in addition to future movies? Well, in my opinion, the only person that can play Robert Englund is Freddy, and he's too old to play a legit Freddy.
He
So
just came out today and said that.
he's been saying it for a couple years, I think, too. But
Yeah,
so honestly, I think a lot of stuff can live in animation if it's done right. And if they're not going to do another live action, which they can't because Robert Englund's the only guy that can do it and he's too old, yeah, why not? It's do like Ash, where they're going to there's an Evil Dead cartoon coming out, right? An Evil Dead animated series, I read,
hmm
where it's like, yeah, he's too old. He doesn't want to suit up and all that shit. Just do his voice. He's still very much the same guy, vocally. I'm here for it. I think so much stuff works in animation really well. Todd's not a big animation guy. I know some people aren't big animation people, but those, you don't have to watch it if you don't. You're not gonna get a new Freddy movie anyway.
yeah,
So it's like you're not. So what does it really hurt if somebody doesn't watch animation? If you don't have any interest in watching the Evil Dead animated series, then don't. You're not going to get a new Evil Dead movie anyway. So what is it? It doesn't really put anybody out, in my opinion. Especially stuff like Evil Dead and Freddy. I don't think it like shits on any legacy. Like Freddy had video games and T-shirts, and he was selling you products left and right in the late '80s. I I'm surprised he didn't have a cartoon already in the '80s. Everything was getting a cartoon, so it's pretty harmless to me.
so
I
okay, so if you had to cast somebody to take Robert Englund's place to play Freddy, who would it be?
Well, I kind of like Gushy's idea. Epstein. Epstein should pick up this gimmick and come back in people's
He's
dreams.
too fat.
He's already dead. He's already doing it in real life. He's
Yeah,
already going method. I'm just saying, isn't Epstein's like a real life Freddy Krueger dude? He could
Yeah,
do
but
that real
what
life
what
villain.
actor? What actor would you?
Well, I guess I'm not. I can't imagine anybody doing it, but there was that fan campaign of being Kevin Bacon. And Kevin Bacon's talked about it like he's find it very flattering. He's like, I would love to play Freddy in a remake because it just went around online that Kevin Bacon's the perfect Freddy replacement, probably because he looks like a burn victim already. But I don't know. He already looks like a walking skeleton with his face. But maybe that's just kind of the easy one. Who else? I always thought because I thought they were the same person when I was a kid. No lie, when back in 1990 or so, 90, 91, when I was watching Freddy's Nightmares, when I was watching Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and It and Chucky, I legit, because we didn't have cable. I was just watching just the standard network TV, and you're a kid, you're a sponge, you're just kind of absorbing everything. I'm not really adding up together. Like I don't really have any concept of, oh, this is on this network, this is property of this network. I'm just like taking it all in. It's kind of all in a melting pot. I have no concept that there's like Hollywood. I have no concept that there's like uh a bunch of actors that kind of play the same roles or I don't have
Mm,
any concept. So when I was a kid, I thought Freddy Krueger was played by Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy.
okay.
A young Ed O'Neill looks like Freddy Krueger. The skinny, when in that first couple seasons when he's thin and he's skinny and he's kind of got that nose. I thought they were the same guy. I was totally convinced because I would look at Freddy in the makeup like that's Al Bundy.
What?
But really, just because in my limited scope, I those were what I was consuming. I was watching Married with Children
Yeah.
and I was watching Freddy. You know what I mean? Like I hadn't seen like all this stuff to really open my world to it. I just figured, oh, well, the guy that plays Al Bundy has to be Freddy too because they look similar, and why not? There's only so many actors, right?
What about Steve Buscemi?
Oh yeah, he doesn't need a lot of time in the makeup chair, that's for sure.
William Defoe?
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Defoe. Yeah.
Willem Dafoe. Yeah, he's a ghoul.
John
Yeah.
Travolta.
Oh god, dude, he is. He is Freddy. He's the Freddy that haunts. He doesn't haunt you in your dreams in the middle of the night. He haunts you in the middle of the
Gold
night at the
Gym.
24-hour fitnesses at 2 or 3 in the morning. So while other people are sleeping and getting tormented by Freddy during those hours, Travolta's getting other people that are awake getting their fitness game on at the same hours, dude. He's still a night crawler, dude.
So you
He's gonna
think
get that booty,
you think
dude.
John Travolta would be the guy?
And he's kind of fat, but I'm here for it. I think 100%. Dude, can you imagine? But wouldn't that series of Freddy's Nightmares get a little redundant when every episode takes place about a guy in a gym at 3 in the morning? It's like, every episode involves a guy that's like finishing up his workout and he's showering and all of a sudden he turns and, John Travolta Kruger's like, whoa, hey,
Well, you can bring back the guy from Total Recall, Quado did, as the gym
yeah,
teacher.
I guess he's kind of old now. It's like, what?
So he went to the dentist, and he supposedly had a heart attack because they gave him too much nitrous, or they put him to sleep, or I don't
Mm,
know. They stopped his heart with too much nitrous.
should have stopped the show. Hey, Ishmael, yeah, Masters of Horror was an hour, right? Yeah, it was at least an hour, if not maybe even longer, because it was like on Showtime. So I don't think
Yeah,
they were because
those
Showtime
are
doesn't have
great though.
ads. Showtime
Yeah,
doesn't have ads.
they
To
actually
me,
have production value as well. So
but I'm saying like Showtime, they were almost like features, just
yeah,
shy. I'm gonna see how they probably didn't have consistent run times. To be honest with you, they probably varied because, like I said, they weren't bound by ads and commercials. Let me see Masters of Horror. Um,
how did
length.
Romero not do a Masters of Horror episode?
I don't know. Length of show. Yeah, so Masters of Horror was 60 minutes. But again, 60 minutes. This is a this is more like 46. That Masters of Horror had 60 full minutes. It was even longer. They felt like mini features to me because they were so close to being features, but I, it is a similar concept. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite with the notion because they took established directors. Not everybody in this was established. I know Robert Englund did an episode. The first episode was done by Toby Hooper of this, but The idea was to take the quote unquote masters of horror and have each director do an installment. I think the thing that hurts this show is that they're trying to thread it with Freddy,
Yeah.
and but they can't thread it full. They can't take you all the way because like we have to thread it around this nightmare concept, but we don't have Freddy. We can't afford Freddy, and I think it hurts it. Masters of Horror is more like Tales from the Crypt, where every episode you're watching can be something its total own.
Hmm.
And so it's totally like literally you can watch, what is it, Dario Argento. He did what's the one he did with Steven Weber, the not
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Jennifer is nothing like Takashi Miike,
Hmm.
and the one in the he did Imprint.
Yeah.
You're very much watching a Takashi Miike thing. Asian influence, aborted fetuses, bamboo shoots, throwing dead babies in the river, and everything. And you have two Carpenter films that are very much Carpenter. I just It felt like you were getting legitimized mini features from established directors that
Absolutely.
fit their wheelhouse. Like they fit snugly into what they did. And I would love to do some Masters of Horror because
Yeah.
are there any commentaries for Masters of Horror out there?
I don't
I feel
know.
like, I feel like it's a lost relic. I feel like people don't talk about it. And
We'll have to do that too for our television horror television series, because that's considered a television series, right? Showtime series.
yeah, technically, yeah, it's a Showtime series. So I don't know why we're not doing those, frankly, for Halloween. I would love to do some of those. I love Pelts with Meatloaf, dude. That's
Ah, I
Argento
love
too.
Pelts, man. Pelts is
Ar-
great.
Argento did that one.
Cigarette
Yes,
Burns is pretty good.
Cigarette Burns. That was Carpenter. Carpenter also did Pro Life, which is also
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, there's if it's a very very consistent series. I know it didn't go on forever and ever, but you have so much good content. What's there? I think if you were to think about, I don't know, they're all very consistent. And to me, it was a little closer to something like a Tales from the Crypt because of it had the budget and you had these recognizable faces. Like Norman Reedus was in Cigarette Burns. He wasn't on Walking Dead at the time, but you did know him from like Boondock Saints. So he was still kind of a cult guy. Like, oh, I know that guy. And you had Udo Kier in that. And then there was
You had Family. Family was good.
Family with George Wendt
When
is
Charge went,
awesome.
yeah,
Isn't that is like a straight up Tales from the Crypt episode.
yeah.
But they, just like Tales from the Crypt, they can go hard on it because it's, Showtime is a rival network. But this aired after Tales from the Crypt. This is like turn of the 21st century, like late, maybe into like early 2000, late 90s. I don't really quite remember, but Tales from the Crypt was over. And yeah, Family's a highlight. Jennifer is a highlight with Steven Weber. Steven Weber, yeah, like he was a TV guy. What else? What
Toby Hooper
else?
did with Dance of the Dead. He did that one.
There was the one that had the chick from The Craft, the chick from The Waterboy. I can't Faruka, whatever her name is. She was in an episode. So it was like
Homecoming. Joe Dante did that one. Yeah.
yeah, it was like a Tales from the Crypt where you had a budget, you had big directors because Tales from the Crypt had big directors too, and you have recognizable faces. Man, I would love to do Family. Family is so good. Family is there's a lot of really good episodes, but I would say Family is a contender for one of the best episodes.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
I would love to do Family. If we just did a few, I would say Family, Jennifer, Cigarette Burns, and Pelts. Like
Pelts.
right
Yeah.
now, if
We gotta do
I,
Pelts.
Imprint is a hard watch, dude. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
Billy Drago's in that, and he's a terrible actor because it's Takashi Miike doing an American project, which is weird. That's the only thing it's very much Takashi Miike, but it's the only thing he's ever done that was an American project. So it's in English, not dubbed. So
Yeah.
that's a little off, right? Because it takes place in Japan and all that stuff, but yet we're dealing with like English. So that's a little on Miike. But and then Billy Drago's a white guy. But other than that, dude, the torture, the bamboo shoots in the fingernails, it's real hard to watch. So but it is a highlight because it's so hard to watch. And that episode ends with Billy Drago cradling a dead fetus. Like, oh, dude, like
Oh,
it's
Dream of the
fucked
Witch
up,
House.
dude.
I remember that one too. That's
Oh
George
yeah.
Gordon. That was a good one.
Yep. Yeah. Very
Chocolate. Remember Chocolate. Who did that one?
Yeah.
Nick Garris did that one. No,
Yeah,
that's
Mick
right.
Garris was in it. Even though I wouldn't say Mick Garris is a master of horror.
No, no,
I
no,
mean,
no.
he was known for doing the Stand TV special, and he did the Shining TV special. So he was kind of a TV guy. Mick Garris directed, I think, episode 3 of this I saw,
Oh,
or
he
something
did.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I like Mick Garris. I like this podcast.
Yeah,
I
I don't
thought he
mind.
was
I don't mind him. I'm
I
not.
think he's a no, I don't give a shit about his work, but I think as a personality he's fun. I like his podcast. I'm gonna see Master Horror episode list. Yeah, so the episode's over. We're gonna shoot the shit though for a minute. I just wanna actually let me go ahead and wrap the official episode up and we can talk for a few.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was the first episode of Freddy's Nightmares. I don't know. Are we in the minority here? Do you guys love it? Do you guys think it's great? I'd be interested to hear what you guys think in the comments. Let us know. And of course, we're sort of tackling a bunch of these series at the same time, albeit we're going in order when we tackle them. Depending on which ones we get to, I mean, like if you guys let us know, hey, we want Tales from the Crypt, more of those, we're going to be more inclined to be like, okay, it's time to dip back into there. Granted, Freddy will be a lot quicker to get through because there's like 22 episodes, but again, that's like 22 damn episodes. That's
Well,
still quite a bit.
I don't hate these. I mean, I give this a 6 out of 10. I think it's
Oh,
fine.
I'd say it's the 5 out of 10. A different story if we're talking about episode 2. No, I'm open to doing more. I'm open to doing more. I just think maybe if we have these like recorded these live streams, I think we should maybe bundle them with something else.
Hmm.
Maybe not 2 of these, but it'd be fun to do like this and an episode of like Tales to the Dark Side, just a
Yeah,
palate cleanse.
that's a great idea. Absolutely.
But anyway, like I said, let us know what you think. Please like and subscribe. Help us out with the algorithms. We're excited for October. Hopefully, you guys are excited to join us along for that. I don't think.
Tell them what we got coming up tomorrow or Friday.
Oh, so if you guys are listening to us live, Friday we are doing a the Fun House, Toby Hooper, a good Toby Hooper project, not unlike this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know if that's any part of a theme. Riverman suggested it, and I couldn't
It's
believe
one
that
of
we
my
hadn't.
favorite movies that I watched during
I
Halloween.
I couldn't believe that we hadn't done that before because
No.
we've talked about it a lot. And yeah, if you want to apply it to any sort of theme, yeah, for some reason it's not centered around the Halloween holiday, but that is a movie that to me screams Halloween. There's just
Absolutely.
something about it.
Hmm.
There's just something about freak shows and carnivals and fairs that just go hand in hand with how, you know why? Because at least around here, that stuff's around the fall
It
time.
is. Yeah, here too.
That's just maybe that's kind of it. Cause
The
I'm
fall
not going,
festivals, the carny fest. Yeah,
yeah, that's
absolutely.
probably what kind of like makes it fit that way. But that's a great one. So we're going to be doing that. Feel free to throw us out suggestions, but I'm gonna have to talk to Todd a little bit because I kind of like the idea of doing some Masters of Horror this month. I'm really
Yeah.
liking this idea. Really, really, really like, and it'll give me a good reason to dust off my Blu-ray because I have 'em on Blu-ray.
Are they all on one or what? Do you have a box set or
No, that
what?
they had like volumes.
Oh, okay.
I think on DVD they sold like a box set on
Hmm.
DVD with just all of them, but then they ended up getting released on Blu-ray with like just like regular basic Blu-ray cases, nothing fancy, like volume 1, 2, 3 or whatever.
Gotcha.
And each one's got like a handful. I don't think I'm probably missing some.
Mm.
I'd have to look, but I have most of them, if not all of them. But and I don't even know if they're hard to come by. You should see how much they go for on
Yeah,
eBay
I'll have to
sometime.
check it out.
But really quick, guys, thank you so much. Really quick, also, as of this recording, Todd, we are 2 weeks away from being remonetized. It's a good feeling.
Yes.
So
Thank God.
next week, the plan is I think we're still going to chill with you guys. Friday, I think we're going to have a fun stream. We'll probably do some stuff. I honestly need to get caught up with these podcasts, with these streams. Dude, I'm fucking backed up. So I don't know if we're going to be doing a commentary live next week. But I think we should still hang out and do stuff, just something I don't have to edit because I'm back. I'm just backed up, man.
You,
You guys are demanding so much.
I was thinking maybe we can get some people to jump on if they want to. Maybe do a tier list. We'll have a few people
Yeah,
jump on
and
with
Todd,
us, do a tier list.
and it would be fun. Todd brought up the old school idea of having a call-in show,
Yeah,
and
we'll just
technically,
send them the link to the
yeah,
StreamYard.
yeah, which is the same thing. So I love that idea. If anybody wants to jump on, we could literally throw the link in the chat and you guys could just hop in. You guys will join the waiting room. I'll see you and then I can admit you.
Just
And
use
I
your
think that
phone if you want to. I don't give a fuck.
yeah, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. And I was thinking about something cool like that for, you know, the for when we're monetized, like a celebration. I was wanting to have like a cool stream, a sweet hang, and just, you know, right middle of the month. But I don't know. I kind of like the idea, whether you want to do it next week or whatever. But do you guys would you guys want to jump on? Some of you guys are shy, but I don't think you should have to be shy.
No.
You don't have to show your face. How about that? At all.
Yeah.
You guys can just join with voice.
Yeah.
And you
Just
can come in and literally you can ask a question and then you can hop off because just like I'm in control, you are too. Like you can back out. You don't have to like you're not stuck in here. So if you want to hop in, just have audio and no camera and ask a question, fantastic. You guys can leave just like I can kick you out. You know what I mean? It could be fun. But anyway, guys, hope to see you Friday. Check out our newest episode of Tales from the Crypt 2, that Christmas episode with the creepy Santa and Larry Drake. Turned out really fun. Bye.